This is the beautiful story of our John Schnauzer, Reason. He was born in 2004, lived to 2013, only lived 8 years, died when he just turned 9. He came from a very famous kennel. His great-granddad had shown at Westminster years ago, won Westminster several years in a row, and at that time was considered the best John Schnauzer in the entire world. So we lost our dog at 9 years old. We had to put him to sleep. We came home. We sat on the screen porch, his favorite spot, and he used to smell a candle there. We lit the candle. We talked about our friend that we lost. We put the candle out. My wife pressed her finger down on the wick to put the candle out. The wick went into the wax. We left, came up, and were ready to go to bed about an hour later. We noticed the screen porch light was on, so we went down to turn it off, and we noticed the light on the screen porch was off. We looked and saw the candle. The candle was lit. The candle was lit. We went over and looked at the candle. It was not the wick, but it was the match sticking up out of the wax that was lit, the match itself. The match only burns for 12 seconds. This is over an hour later. It was just unbelievable. We looked at each other and said, "Oh my goodness, God must have had a hand in this." We never experienced anything like this. We came back inside, we put the candle out, came back inside, talking about what had just happened, and then for the next 4 months, this dog, my best friend, came back to visit me, not on 1, 2, 3 occasions, but came back to visit not even 4, 5, 6 occasions, but 7, 8, 9 different occasions came back to visit me. I still don't believe it. I have a 30-year law enforcement background. I worked with attack dogs in the military as an Army Ranger, and I still don't believe it, but it happened. The first 3 times he came back to visit, he was barking. And this is important. He was barking from heaven. This dog is in heaven. Dogs have been seen in heaven by other people who've been to heaven. They've written books about it. In heaven, you speak telepathically. You never move your mouth again. You can walk, run, and you have the use of 5 senses. This dog is speaking to me from heaven to earth, telepathically, with his bark. Just unbelievable. The first 3 barks were happy barks, come play with me barks. And over the next 4 months, the next 3 barks were sad barks. The last 3 were crying barks. He was crying. Wanted me to come and be with him. But we knew he was in God's presence. God had caused this. And this is absolutely unbelievable. Telepathic thought from heaven to earth. It happens in heaven, but I've never heard of it. I've never read about it in the 15 books in heaven that I've read. No one has talked about telepathic thought from heaven to earth. And this dog, not even a human being, but a dog did that. And it's just so hard to believe, but it happened. And we knew, of course, he was in God's presence. He's waiting for us in heaven. We love him dearly. We'll see him in heaven. We have other dogs we'll also visit in heaven. I've owned a lot of dogs. I've shown dogs. I've attack trained dogs. And these dogs are beautiful. They're magnificent creatures from God, and we love them to death. And that's our story of our John Schnauzer, who went to heaven, came back, and visited us with his ball. I'm going to show you the candle now. Here's the candle, the miracle candle that was lit right there. That's the match. The match that was lit, sticking up out of the wax. The black match that was lit on the candle. The wick itself was in the wax. That was lit, only burns for 12 seconds, and this is over an hour later, that was burning. And you can see the dark match itself. That's the miracle candle. So we lost our best friend at that time. We do have another John Schnauzer in the house. That John Schnauzer is being shown on YouTube. And this dog was being shown throughout several states. He had many ribbons, a lot of points towards championship. Just an absolutely beautiful dog. And we lost him at 9 years old. And then this happened, which is just unbelievable. We love him to death. We'll see him in heaven. And that's our story about our beautiful John Schnauzer, who went to heaven and came back to visit.